If Trump wins, he'll be a vessel for the most regressive figures in U.S. politics. Katrina vanden Heuvel. A Trump presidency would usher in dark consortium dedicated to stripping millions of Americans of our freedoms. 50 years ago, then Governor Ronald Reagan headlined the inaugural Conservative Political Action Conference. He spoke of the U.S. as a city on a hill, an example of human virtue and excellence, a divinely inspired nation whose best days were ahead. The speakers at last week's conference were decidedly less inspiring. A lineup of extremists, insurrectionists, and conspiracy theorists gathered for panels like Catfight, Michelle v. Kamala, and Putting Our Heads in the Gas Stove. At PAC, you can drink Woke Tears water, buy rhinestone-studded firearms, and play a January 6th-themed pinball machine. But it would be wrong to dismiss PAC as a crackpot convention. It is also a harbinger of what a second Donald Trump presidency would bring, influenced by a consortium of self-proclaimed Christian nationalists and reactionary dark money groups like the Heritage Foundation, who see Trump as their return ticket to relevancy. The Heritage Foundation has poured $22 million into Project 2025, their plan to gut the deep state and radically reshape the government with a souped-up version of the unitary executive theory, which contends that the president should be allowed to enact his agenda without pesky checks and balances. To paraphrase one speaker at PAC, welcome to the end of democracy.
Hey, look, welcome to the end of democracy.
The Heritage Foundation's policy agenda is disturbingly radical, even by the standards of the modern Republican Party. They want to dismantle the administrative state, ban abortion completely at the state and federal level, and, as always, cut taxes for the rich. They would put religious liberties over civil ones, and Christian rights over the rights of women, people of color, LGBTQ+ people, and really anyone who does not look and think exactly like they do. As Trump himself said in an alarmingly theocratic speech last week, no one will be touching the cross of Christ under the Trump administration, I swear to you. And we have no reason to doubt him. Russell Vought, a radical involved with Project 2025 who speaks with Trump at least twice a month, is a candidate to be the next White House chief of staff. Vought works closely with the Christian nationalist William Wolf, a former Trump administration official who has advocated for ending surrogacy, no-fault divorce, sex education in schools, and policies that subsidize single motherhood. The Heritage Foundation has even called for ending recreational sex. Media coverage of Trump tends to focus on his mounting legal woes, nearly $500 million in damages and counting, and increasingly bizarre rants, magnets don't work underwater. But such an approach misses the point. We can't risk focusing on spectacle at the expense of strategy, and he has made his strategy perfectly clear. He has said he will be a dictator on day one and go after and indict those who challenge him. He's running on a 10-point plan to protect children from left-wing gender insanity. He's promised to send federal troops into Democratic-run crime dens, by which he means New York City and Chicago. He will have advantages in the courts this time around, too. Groups such as the Article 3 Project, an advocacy group for constitutionalist judges, are making sure of it. A 3P is led by Mike Davis, a Trump loyalist lawyer who has been floated for Attorney General. You know, the role that Jeff Sessions and Bill Barr weren't extreme enough for? He has promised President Trump's next generation of judges will be even more bold and tough. And in the meantime, his organization has taken out TV ads attacking the judges and prosecutors in Trump's criminal trials as activists who have destroyed the rule of law. If the Article 3 Project gets what they want, judges hearing challenges to Trump's proposals will be judges he appointed. Not only will his policies be more dangerous and dogmatic, they'll be better designed to withstand judicial scrutiny, especially in a friendly court. Look no further than the Alabama Supreme Court, which ruled last week that frozen embryos are children, imperiling the legality of IVF and foreshadowing far worse. Trump, clearly panicking, has distanced himself from this decision, but as long as he continues to nominate radical activist judges, and he will, it is nothing more than posturing. As was the case during his first term, Trump will serve as a vessel for some of the most regressive figures in American politics. And unlike last time, when he was incentivized to get re-elected legitimately, he will be unencumbered by any notion that he should abide by democratic norms or heed moderating voices. January 6th was a purity test, and he's since cleared his ranks of people who've even whispered disapprovingly. Despite all of this, Trump is leading Biden in many polls. Most projections put the race at 50-50 at best. If Trump and his extremist cronies prevail in 2024, Project 2025 will be underway this time next year, stripping millions of Americans of our freedoms. The end of democracy, indeed.